Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another amazing episode of House and Home. As usual, we're your hosts. I'm Godfrey.
And I'm Theresa.
And we have an amazing show lined up for you this evening. So, Theresa, how was your weekend?
My weekend was super fun. Like, Friday was my birthday, and the next day we had a girls' day out. We went to the movies. It was super fun. I love my friends. Like, they just gave me the best birthday gift ever.
Oh, that's
How was
amazing.
yours?
Well, first of all, happy birthday, Theresa. I hope you enjoyed it, and it sounds like you did.
Yeah.
Well, my weekend was kind of uneventful. I just went to the Arts Theatre. I did a couple of rehearsals there. I have my show coming up soon, but
We can't wait to watch.
we'll hear about that later on in the show. But, well, speaking of the show, why don't we move ahead with it? Theresa, what's our lineup for this
We have
evening?
a great lineup, viewers. We can't wait to show you what's in the pipeline. We have cooking with Dwayne. Dwayne is whipping up the best, one of the, amazing recipes. I hope you sit there and watch because you don't want to miss that. We have Bright Bill with more great products with great prices, and we have.
What's next? Oh, that's right, yes. I go out and about to the Port Moresby Arts Theatre and see why that place is so awesome and why I like to call it a second home of mine and why it really is a home of arts in Port Moresby. So then after that, if I'm not mistaken, we have a feature story on a gardener, correct? Okay.
We'll be featuring Mrs. Thor Willie. She's one of the, talented florists, and
Nice.
would love to see that too.
And then if I'm not mistaken, we have a pet care segment after that.
Yes, we sought advice from the team down at the Port Moresby Nature Park, and they've given us a little bit of information on how you can take care of parrots as a pet. Not that they encourage you to go down to Port Moresby Nature Park and get parrots to take care of them, but they've given information on how you can take care of parrots as a pet, That's if you have one.
If you have one, okay. Wow, that's quite helpful. So then, right after that, I have my review of the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, which was just released, if I'm not mistaken, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So I give you my thoughts on that amazing, wonderful smartphone at the end of the show. So stick around for that, everybody. But I guess we better move on with the show, eh, Theresa? Without further ado, here's Chef Dwayne cooking up for us a steak sandwich. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Enjoy.
Hi everyone and welcome to Cooking with Dwayne and welcome to my home. Today we're having an outdoor cooking session and we'll be cooking a steak sandwich. So what you basically need for a steak sandwich is steak, of course, we're using rump. It is a soft beef cut, very tender. We have onions, tomatoes to go with the sandwich, capsicum, cheese, and of course Papua New Guinea loves bread. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to toast the bread. I'm going to slice it up, toast it, so it doesn't get soggy. It helps, gives a good crust and a good texture on the bread as well. So let's get into it. I've already prepped my barbecue stand. It's already on medium heat. It's heated up pretty good. I'm just going to slice this bread up. Some people love a lot of bread. It's up to you, basically. If you want to have a big slice, then you go for it. And that's all done. I'm just gonna put this here, clear my working station. And I'm just gonna put this on the barbecue stand just to toast it. It's kind of tricky when you're putting toasting bread on the barbecue stand because you want the chud marks. You have to find the sweet spot on it. So I already did some trials and I kind of basically have a good sense of where to get the best chud marks on it. So it's just gonna toast for a while. As long as it takes. I'll show you guys what I mean when it's toasted. What I'm actually after is the chud marks on the bread. It gives a good texture and gives a really good finish. It's just gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Much better if you crank up the heat, then you would get it much more. You get the score marks much quicker then. Okay, so one side is already done. This is what I'm after. This is what you want to get.
Up for like 3 seconds.
This is what you want to get. So you can see the grill marks on it. So the bread is finally toasted. It just stops the bread from getting soggy when you're putting the meat, so the juices from the tomatoes or the meat doesn't get the bread all soggy. That's why I'm using a whole loaf bread, so it's much thicker. I'm just after thickness. And yeah, this is basically what we are after. And now to the rump steak. What I've done, I just lightly seasoned it with salt and pepper. I mean, if you love salt, you can go all the way. It's up to you actually. So it's a very tender cut meat, so we just want to cook it over a medium heat for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. So the trick with cooking a steak sandwich or making a steak sandwich is you don't want to overcook the meat, because beef tends to get too tough when you overcook. So you just want it medium rare. If you like rare, then go for it. So it's just on 3 minutes on each side. It gives you medium rare. If you want it done, then go for 5 to 6 minutes. So it's been on the barbecue stand for 3 minutes on one side already. And we just want the meat soft so you can actually enjoy it with the sandwich. When you overdo the meat, then it gets too tough and your sandwich won't be enjoyable. So yeah, that has been here for about 3 minutes. As you can see, we have some really nice char marks on the meat. So what I'm gonna do right after the meat is done, I'm just gonna let it rest on the side for a while, so just all the juices to come out, and you'll get a really nice pink finish in the middle. So it's really nice and soft, and you can actually enjoy it with the bread. So it's almost done. So what we're actually going after, trying to get here, is we just want it medium rare. Outdoor cooking, so I just covered everything just to keep any unwanted pests away from the food. We don't want any food poisoning or anything to go bad. So the meat is ready, it's done. I'm just gonna take it off now. If you overcook beef, it tends to get too tough. So. So we're just gonna let this rest. We're just gonna let the meat rest for 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, as long as it takes. So the meat is really nice and tender. So after 10 minutes of resting, you would find that the rump would be swimming in a pool of juices. And these juices you could actually use to make a nice sauce or gravy to go with the barbecue, of course. Or you can actually set this back onto the sandwich. So while the meat's resting, I'm just gonna get started with the vegetables. Just gonna cut onion rings. Nice onion rings. Just make sure you have a steady position. That's what I usually do. I just switch it out onto the other side so it makes it adds more stability when I'm cutting the onions. Make sure you have a chopping board with damp tablecloth underneath so it doesn't move, so you don't cut yourself. Just gonna push this aside. Okay, with the tomatoes, just gonna cut this out. The same thing. Just gonna swap it on the other side like this. And finally the capsicum. So you got the core up, and you have nice clean pieces like this, because you don't necessarily need the white stuff. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so we're ready for plating. Let's plate up. What I actually like to do is cut it up into strips. So this is the kind of color that we want. As you can see, it's really nice and pink in the middle. That's what you're actually looking for. See what the resting has done, has took out all the juice, and all the juices on the plate. As you can see, you could use this to make a sauce or gravy. So what I like to do is cut this up into strips. So it's much tastier this way. There you go. This is why I had an option of getting a bigger bread, but more bulkier, so you can actually put most of these things in, accommodate for all the ingredients. And finally on top, just top everything off, the cheese. So there you have it, a nice steak sandwich. There you have it, guys, a simple approach to steak sandwich. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. Thank you for watching, and this has been Cooking with Dwayne.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to House and Home. So next up on the show, we actually go to Brian Bell and see what Leon can show us. I think he's showing us what is it? House slow cookers. Yeah, I'm actually curious. What exactly is a slow cooker, Theresa? Would you know?
Oh, well, for working class people, it's gonna be a lot more helpful because like you can just like leave work at around lunch, you use your lunch hour and then go home, time it, and then make sure that when you go home, it's like prepared, ready around like 5 or 6. So pretty much something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that sounds like it would save a lot of time, especially when like you accidentally leave something and you haven't defrosted it. That's like a nightmare for like someone like me when I have to go home. I can't cook anything. It's actually quite irritating. But let's see how these slow cookers can help people.
Yep. Let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Leon Gawi and welcome to another Shopping with Brian Bell, the show that gives you some great insight to products that you can find here at our Brian Bell Home Center showroom. Now, in recent times, I showed you a new brand to the Brian Bell product line called Haus. Haus is Brian Bell's very own homeware range where you can find all sorts of things like toasters, kettles, and many other white goods that you'll need in your home. So in this segment, I'll show you one of the products from our Haus range of goods, specifically the Haus slow cooker. We'll see why slow cookers are excellent to use in your kitchen, and we'll also see how they operate and how easy it is for you to cook a meal in a slow cooker. Slow cookers are economical and easy to use. They are designed to make the most of budget-friendly ingredients and still prepare a healthy family meal. The cooking process with the slow cooker is simpler. It is a great addition to help prepare meals for you and your whole family with your busy schedule during the day. Simply throw everything you want into your slow cooker, turn it on, adjust the heat, and keep the lid on. Now I'll explain a bit more about our Haus slow cookers as we go on in the show. But first, I know it's more informative if I show you how they actually work. So I'll try to cook a hearty beef stew that's savory and everyone can enjoy. All we need are these ingredients. 1 chopped brown onion, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1 large carrot, 3 large potatoes, 500 to 700 grams of diced beef, bacon pieces, 1 cup Worcestershire sauce, ground black pepper, 4 cups of beef stock, 1 tablespoon of corn flour mixed with warm water, and the most important equipment, your Haus slow cooker. So you literally throw everything into the one pot, mix the contents through well, place the lid on and cook on high for 2 to 3 hours, or you cook on low for 5 to 6 hours. It's that simple, and there's one thing to always remember with slow cookers is that once you put the lid on, you don't take it off until the cooking time has elapsed, and we'll find out why as we go on. So while that's cooking away, let's see why these slow cookers are an asset in your kitchen. Slow cookers are a great innovation and they're excellent to keep in your kitchen. They can prepare some amazing meals for you and your family to enjoy that are savory, tasty, and full of flavor. Now here are some benefits on why you should get a Haus slow cooker from Brian Bell. Number 1, the design. Slow cookers are just electric pots with stoneware inserts. Now the difference between these and your gas cooktops or your conventional ovens is that these slow cookers can cook on low or high heat for extended periods of time, even cooking some meals for up to 12 hours. Now the great thing about these slow cookers is that they're easy to use. All you have to do is turn it on to the low heat and you can prepare your meal for an extended period of time. Trusted that you keep the lid on because it traps the heat in, and that's how a slow cooker cooks, with all the heat coming through and the steam going back to prepare you a savory meal for you and your family to enjoy.
Number 2, flavor.
One of the greatest attributes about these Haus slow cookers is the fact that it can produce some amazing flavors. Now, simmering a mixture of these ingredients in your slow cooker while you're cooking your meal can cook it in their own juices for an extended period of time on low or high heat, producing some flavors that other forms of cooking simply cannot.
Cooking on low, steady heat brings out the most savory flavors and can give slow-cooked meals that extra zest. It also cooks tougher meats for longer periods of time and makes them tender and juicy, ready to eat.
Now, slow cookers run on less energy than your conventional gas stove or electric stoves. These bad boys run on less wattage as well. The trick is it uses the steam produced in the cooking to cook the food through for you. So it's important that you don't remove the lid when you're cooking with a slow cooker.
Imagine keeping your gas stove on for 6 to 8 hours straight. That would be a nightmare, and after you wake up from the nightmare, you'll have to go and get more gas for your stove. That problem is solved with this electric slow cooker.
Now, here in PNG, we always have friends, families and one-talks that turn up to your house unannounced and enjoy a meal with you. Well, with the 6-liter capacity of this Haus slow cooker, you can rest assured that you'll feed them all. It's that easy. All you have to do is chuck everything into your slow cooker, place the lid on, like I showed earlier, and let it cook for 2 to 3 hours or 5 to 6 hours on low or high, and then come back and check out your meal, which will be ready to consume. Now, talking about earlier, let's go and see how my beef stew turned out.
That smell of all the flavors is just amazing. The veggies and the beef look tender and yummy. Enough of looking, let's have a serve and taste this pot of goodness.
Mother's Day is approaching us quick. Now, remember this date, on the 23rd of April, Mother's Day catalogs from Brian Bell will be out at shops. So come on in and pick one up. There's some great gift ideas, or you can just get one of these slow cookers from Brian Bell to give to your mom.
Also, when you shop here at Brian Bell, you just might win something extra with our Be Mom's Favorite competition. There are gift vouchers to be won, so with every 50 kina spent, you get an entry form. Simply fill in your details, drop it into the draw box, and if your name is drawn, then you win.
So come on in and shop at Brian Bell, and you just might win something extra for your mom this Mother's Day. Now, we've come to the end of this segment. I know you've seen that our Haus slow cookers are perfect to keep in your kitchen and perfect to cook your next tasty, savory, flavorful meal. So come on in, pick one up, and go home, try it for yourself and see the great flavors and taste the great flavors that you can produce out of these Haus slow cookers. And always remember, quality products, great services and great value. That's Brian Bell. I'll see you next time here on Shopping with Brian Bell. Goodbye and God bless.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to House and Home, and welcome to Out and About, where we show you Palm's greatest places for you and your family can go to just relax and chill. This week, we're at the Moresby Arts Theatre located at Waigani, which is one of the oldest buildings in the city and is one of the oldest running amateur theater clubs in the world. So we're going to head in and find out why this place is so awesome.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy. 'Cause I'm easy go, little high, little low. Anywhere the wind blows doesn't really matter to me, to me.
So here to tell me more about the Moresby Arts Theatre itself and a little bit about its history, we have the current president, Maya Papal. How are you, Maya?
I'm fine. And yourself, Godfrey?
I'm okay. I mean, can't
good,
complain.
it's good.
This place is amazing. Could you tell us a little bit more about its history?
Sure. Moresby Arts Theatre, we've been in existence since 1914, which is well over 100 years old. So we're one of the oldest clubs in Port Moresby, in PNG, if not the Southern Hemisphere, I might guess. But we've been in the physical location here at Waigani since the mid-70s. So it's been here a while. So this theatre is quite old. So it's got a lot of history and a lot of stories to tell. So
Let's say if people want to make their own histories here and tell their own stories, how can they come along and do so?
we are a club, which means we're just like any club, like a rugby club. People can join up to become a member. And so individuals can join up for 30 kina, families for 60 kina, and students for 15 kina. That's an annual membership. So with membership comes, getting on our email list. And so we let you know what all the activities are. Whether it's the opportunity to audition for a show or be a part of the stage crew, whether it's to come along to our craft markets, you can volunteer for our craft markets as well to be a part of it. Or we have other activities like our club nights, our monthly club nights, where as a member you come along, you can perform, or you can support the theatre by having a drink or a nibbly. It's about supporting the theatre. Yes.
How can people join up? Is there like a form, and where can we get
Yes,
this
of course.
form?
The membership form is freely available here at the Moresby Arts Theatre office. But I think you can also access it by emailing us, and then we can send you a soft copy. But we also have a Facebook page as well. So if you can access our Facebook page, which is Moresby Arts Theatre, we can obviously send you a copy as well.
Right.
To
Okay.
download and
Do you actually have to be talented in singing or dancing or acting in order to join?
Not necessarily. I think if you have a love of anything artistic and you want to support artistic things in Port Moresby, whether you're Papua New Guinean, whether you're non-Papua New Guinean, joining the theatre is a way to express your support of the arts.
So speaking of all these the musicals and the events that happen here, what happens at the Arts Theatre besides the musicals and the plays?
Yes, I think I mentioned the craft markets. We have a monthly craft market that we have every second Saturday of the month. And it's actually known around Port Moresby as the craft market on the second Saturday of the month, I hope. But it's opportunity for people to come, and whether you're a member or not a member of the theatre, you just come along, you pay your 2 kina at the gate. Kids are free, adults are 2 kina, and you just wander around and you enjoy the atmosphere. We usually show movies in the auditorium as well. We have food for sale, hot dogs for sale, of course, and it's just an opportunity to come and hang out with your family a little bit and enjoy the atmosphere.
What is the atmosphere like right before a production or a musical or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of energy, but then when the show comes around, it's always electric in that people are anticipating a great show, and on the night itself, you rock up with your ticket, or you can actually buy tickets here at the office as well. And you hang around here, have a few drinks, have some food, you get ready for the show. The show usually starts at between 7 and 7:30. This is the evening shows, and if it's a matinee, it usually starts about 1:30. And yeah, it's with a musical, it's always full of energy.
Just for families and kids who come by, are there any snacks that are usually on sale here?
Yeah, of course. There's always snacks on sale. But we always try to have hot food as well, pies and hot dogs, because that's all part of the experience of coming to the theatre. You want to eat some nice food and you want to watch a show. So we definitely have nibblies.
Oh, that's great news. Great news for everyone out there, hey? So just one final question.
Of course.
Could I try on some of the costumes that you have somewhere around here?
Oh, okay. What do you want to try on?
Well, do you mind if we take a sneak peek through
Yeah, of
and
course.
see what you got?
Because in fact, one of the services we provide, if you want to hire one of our costumes, you can actually hire it. If there's a costume party you want to go to, like around Halloween or something, you can come and ask us, and you can look through, and you can hire our costumes as well. So that's actually one of the services we provide too.
Okay, that is amazing then.
And I won't charge you anything, so you can go ahead and look.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maya, for your time.
Okay, you're welcome.
Go ahead, try on those costumes, eh?
Enjoy yourself. Go ahead.
Life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, I didn't mean to make you cry. I'm not back again this time tomorrow. Carry on, as if nothing really matters. Too late, my time has come. Sent shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind to face the truth. I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all.
Carry on, as if nothing really matters. So this is just one of the many amazing costumes that you can try on here at the Moresby Arts Theatre if you become a member. But not only that, you get notified whenever there's a new thing here at the Arts Theatre, like a new play or a new musical or any artsy event. Honestly, this place is just amazing for the arts. Carry on, as if nothing really matters. So here to tell us more about the next production at the Moresby Arts Theatre, we have Hannah. Hi Hannah,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. So could you tell us more about yourself and about the next show that you're doing?
Well, my name is Hannah Allen, and I was born in the United States, but I lived most of my life in the Gulf Province. The show that's coming up at the Mat is The Revolution. It's about the life of America's first Treasury Secretary, Alexander Hamilton. Wow. So the whole show is a musical. Unlike most musicals, it's not just random songs in between the dialogue. It's full music through the whole show. Yep.
Right,
So
from start to finish.
all of the dialogue is either done in song or in rap. So
Rap?
Rap.
Really, there's rap in this musical?
There's rap in the musical.
Oh, that sounds really interesting. Has this ever been done before?
Not in an actual staged production. Obviously, rap's been on stage for a while, but it's never been as a story before. It's never been as a show.
Interesting. All right. But, you know, since it's all rap, this sounds actually quite difficult. Could you tell us about your experiences as being the director for this musical?
It has been difficult, like getting a lot of people's lines down because it is rap. It's a bit more difficult, and some people can rap, some people find it more difficult. It's been a lot easier because of the cast I have. The cast has thankfully been so excited about the show itself, and it's really helped getting lines down. It's really helped getting just the feel of the whole show a lot nicer, a lot more exciting.
That is amazing. So speaking of the show, though, opening night is quite close, if I'm not mistaken. Could you tell us more about that?
Opening night is actually this coming Thursday. It's the 19th of April.
As in, like, 2 days from now?
As in 2 days from now.
Wow, that is quite soon, and that is really exciting. How do you feel about it? Are you nervous?
I am kind of nervous because if anything goes wrong, it's kind of on me. But I'm also really excited because I think the cast has come a long way since, especially since the first practice.
With the show, where can people get tickets to come and see it, though?
You can get tickets at Baroka Food World, at Waterfront Food World, and here at the Moresby Arts Theatre.
All right, that is awesome. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for this interview, and I wish you all the best in your production.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, then.
Come easy, go, will you let me go?
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Moresby Arts Theatre. Becoming a member has never been easier. And when you do, you get all the latest news about every event that happens here. So, what are you waiting for? Come on down and join the Moresby Arts Theatre. It's great fun for your family and friends. Woo! Encore! Yeah! Woo, 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 woo! Until next time, I'll see you guys later on Out and About. Awesome! Yeah! Hey everybody, and welcome back to House and Home. So next up on the show, we actually have a feature story about a pretty talented florist. Theresa, could you tell us a bit more about this florist and tell us about any experiences you have with floristing? Is that the right
Anyways,
word?
I'm going to start with my experience because, well, back then when I was in Rabaul, that is where I learned how to, plant like stuff like, peanuts and corns. Those are the easiest ones I know how to plant.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty interesting. That's
Yeah.
more than I know how to
What about
plant.
you?
I mean, I think the only thing that I know how to plant is
The flowers?
a flower.
Like
Yeah, I guess
hibiscus
that counts.
flowers?
That counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think I planted an orange tree once,
Oh,
but
that's good.
it never actually grew. I think I killed
Oh.
it. But I have no idea. Maybe I can learn something from the florist that we have next up on the show. So everybody take a
Let's
look.
take a look.
My name is Thoa Willie, and I come from Maupa. Maupa is in the Central Province. I am a florist. My floral arrangement business initially started in July 2014. That was the time when I resigned from full-time employment. I used to be a personal assistant, and I worked for more than 30 years. And after a trip to Kiunga, we came back and I decided that I was going to tender in my resignation to full-time go into looking after my plants. Initially, my plan was to just do pot plants, but along the way in 2015, the flower arrangement idea popped up. So I decided to not only grow plants in pots, but also to do floral arrangements. First time I tried to do a flower arrangement was really tough. First of all, I had no formal training and no background experience in flower arrangements. It was basically starting from scratch. But despite the tough situations and all that, I managed to do couple before attending a training in November 2015. But they say that, when we practice makes perfect. So every week we've been doing flower arrangements. So I think I'm getting there. I normally source my flowers locally within Port Moresby markets, around 9 Mile, 14 miles, Sogeri, and some around Taurama as well. And when there are bigger, or sometimes when it's occasionally, I get them from Goroka, Kainantu, Lei. And yeah, I get them there. For bigger events, I normally get them from Goroka and also from Mount William. Events I do arrangements for conferences, weddings, board meetings, funerals, fundraising activities, and on a weekly basis, the standing orders for clients. My motivation in taking up this flower business is my passion for plants and flowers. We have so many different kinds of flowers and the colors and what, so like when you see one flower and you have never seen it in your life, you just go like, wow, that's a beautiful color. And then the same type of flower, and there's a different color altogether, and you're just going, wow, 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 all the way. And sometimes when you see different kinds of flowers, it gives you like peace, and it also, like for plants, when you are stressed and all that, and when you go out and check on your flowers and all that, like you see something different that is there that you have not seen, and it gives you that happiness and joy and all that. So yeah, that's my motivation for doing this business. What I love most about what I do is the opportunity to work with flowers and plants on a weekly basis. Sometimes it's daily, but most times it's weekly. So like you get busy, and your mind is more focused on what you want to do. My biggest accomplishment in these 3 years I've been in this business has been the opportunity to do flower arrangements for the judicial conference. That was a week-long conference last year in this November. And also just recently, last week, we hired out 100 pot plants for an event that was held at the IPA. The real challenge is the availability of suitable flowers to cover for urgent or last-minute orders. Having to run around looking for these flowers is very stressful when you have last-minute orders. But when clients give you ample time, then you know that is the flower that you would like to put on that arrangement for your client, so that it can look good, and not only look good, but also the quality of the flower is, the best. The busiest times for us is usually on Sundays, when we go looking for flowers to cater for our orders for Monday deliveries. Normally it's as and when our clients or the requests come in, and then it'll be time for us to be busy. Demand for flower arranging is high, and we need many farmers out there to grow more flowers to meet the demand. Future plans I have for my business is to expand it, to find a suitable land where I can go and grow my plants and flowers, and also to employ more workers to help in this expansion program. There is an event that is planned for May this year, and it is the annual flower show, and it will be held from the 7th of May to the 13th of May, and it will coincide with the Mother's Day weekend. We have flower farmers from all around the country that we have invited to come and attend this show, and it's the PNG Floriculture Association show, and we also would like to invite members to join this association. And one of the benefits to be in this association is for the association to look for training for these flower mamas or floral arrangement trainings, and how to grow your plants and all these other things, other trainings that are associated with plants and flowers. This association will source trainers to come and train us here in our country. So that is the reason why we are looking at encouraging florists and people growing flowers to come and join the association. If someone is interested in our floral arrangements, we can be contacted on the number showing on the screen. As soon as we receive your request, we will contact you and discuss your requirements, and then we'll take it from there.
Oh my gosh, those flower arrangements look amazing. I wish.
Very talented.
Yeah, honestly, I wish I knew how to arrange flowers
and the
like
fact that they
that.
get people place their orders, and when she comes up with those creations, they just look awesome. They look lovely,
Nice.
She actually gave us one for the reception. And
Oh,
it looked
right, yeah, I've
amazing.
seen that. It's actually pretty good. I like that.
So viewers, if you want to know more about Thua Willie, or if you want to get in touch with her, and if you think you can't do that, you don't have access to Facebook and all the other social media, platforms, please give us a call. MTV is right here for you. Call us on 325-7322 and send us an email that is houseandhome@emtv.com.pg. Yep.
All right, anyway, we're going to take a really short break right now, but when we come back, stick around because we've got more House and Home.
Welcome back to the show, everyone, and I hope you're enjoying House and Home so far. Now we have for you another edition on pet care. We're going to be learning about how you can take care of your parrot as a pet.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I actually know a couple friends of mine who own parrots, but I have no idea how to take care of them. Like, what kind of food do they eat? How do you bathe them, or what kind of cages do you have to keep them in? Do you keep them in cages? I have so many questions. Right?
I know, I have a lot of questions too. Anyways, let's just take a look and see what there is on pet care. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to have a parrot as a pet? Parrots are wild, but can be entertaining and very beautiful to look at. Parrots as pets, they are bright, bubbly, and friendly and intelligent companion animals. There you go. Get on, sweetie. However, they do have a specific diet and a husbandry to keep them healthy, not just physically, but emotionally. I'm here at the Port Moresby Nature Park, and with the great help of Ishimu and the team, they've provided a few information that I can share with you all. If you have a parrot as a pet or are planning to get one, here are some of the tips that I can show you. One of parrots' essential care is housing. They need big space to move around. You should also be aware of where you place your parrot's cage. Exposure to windy drafts or direct sunlight could negatively affect your bird's quality of life, resulting in discomfort or even death. The second tip is diet. Feed your parrot a healthy diet. They need to be fed at least one meal each day and also be given treats periodically throughout the day. You can buy parrot food at a pet store, but the best diet for birds includes fresh vegetables, fruits, and peanuts. Or you can even give your birds small bits of cooked fish, and the two foods that should never be given to parrots are chocolate and avocado. Both foods are poisonous to birds and will result in illness or even death. Keep this in mind as you choose a bird to take home. As it is known, all parrots make a lot of noise. They even tend to chirp and squawk from time to time. All parrots can bite you. Do not irritate your bird, and make sure it has plenty of toys to chew on. And bear in mind that smokes are toxic to parrots, so be cautious about that. Parrots are highly social animals that need daily interaction with humans. Try to dedicate at least 2 hours a day to spending with your bird. You should try to give parrots wooden toys, as it is important for a parrot's mental stimulation. It will help entertain the bird when you are unable to give time to your parrot. And that's all we have for you on pet care. I hope you've learned a thing or two. Until the next time, goodbye.
Wow, Theresa, you actually look quite afraid when that parrot was walking up your shoulder. Are you okay?
Okay, I have to be a little bit honest here. Because I have to be a lot more honest here, because at first I was like, oh my God, is it really gonna, scratch me or,
yeah.
But then they're really friendly if if you're relaxed, flexible enough.
Right.
They're gonna really enjoy your company. So yeah,
Right,
really
okay.
enjoy.
So it's not just learning how to take care of the parrot, but learning what you have to be,
how
in order
to really
to
communicate with them,
Yeah.
because they really need that love, from humans. They really need to, they really want to communicate, learn how to, if they get to, if you're the owner, they really need to get to know you.
Right,
you have to
right,
be,
yeah.
flexible and open to them so they can communicate.
Right, yeah. A lot like, a lot of other house pets like dogs and cats. I mean, if they see strangers, they're not gonna, behave the same. Then they're gonna be a little hostile, especially. So I guess they make a lot of sense that you have to learn how to communicate with the parrot before
Exactly,
you let it crawl up your arm and sit on your shoulder. That was actually pretty cool, Theresa. That was awesome.
I like
All right,
that.
so we're gonna take a really short break right now, but stick around because if there's anyone out there who loves Samsung, you're gonna love this next segment as I take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, which is, I think, the best Samsung phone ever.
Yeah.
Stick around for that. Hey everybody, and welcome back to House and Home. Okay, so here we go. 3 years ago, Samsung released its latest flagship model, the Samsung Galaxy S6, S6 Edge, and S6 Edge Plus. They were bold, exploring what they could do for a phone for this day and age, but they were also fairly criticized for it. Then 1 year ago, Samsung released their most polished version of this phone yet, the Samsung Galaxy S8. And this was already incredible in its own right, with only a few minor setbacks. And now, a year later, the Samsung Galaxy S9 is here, and Samsung have done it. They've released the most Samsung phone ever, and it is flawless, with only a few minor setbacks. So here's what I thought of the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. First of all, this phone looks gorgeous, which is easy for Samsung because they've always gotten the design right. It's primarily a glass and metal build with a matte coating around the edges, so it feels great to hold. The one I've got here is a midnight black version, but it also comes in a steely blue and a faded pink, which also look really, really amazing. Around the edges, you've got your power, volume, and if you're into it, Bixby button, as it's gotten rid of the home button ever since last year's S8. The display is just a little bit bigger than last year's Plus model, so it gives you more screen and less bezel, which then gives you more space to watch videos and play games on. And they look absolutely fantastic. Down on the bottom, you've got your headphone jack, take that Apple, your USB-C charging port, and your dual stereo speakers tuned by AKG, one located here and another one up at the top, giving you a much richer sound and also a feature called Dolby Atmos, which also gives you surround sound when you're watching movies and playing your games. Picture yourself in a little sound bubble created by your phone. That is so cool. Then on the top, there's a port for your nano SIM card, as well as an SD card slot, allowing for expandable storage for up to 400 gigs. Fixing the issue from last year's model, the fingerprint scanner is now located directly beneath the camera, allowing you to unlock your phone super easy and ergonomically. I've always been such a huge fan of Samsung's designs because they're always so elegant. The phone is also weighted really well, so it feels really nice in your hand, and it's also easier to carry and slip into your pocket or your bag. And to top it all off for you, the whole build is IP68 water and dust resistant, so it makes it a lot more adventurous for you and a lot more appropriate for countries like ours. Now, straight out of the box, this phone has not missed a single beat. It is fast, it is responsive, and it is silky smooth. And that's all thanks to one of the fastest processors I've seen on a phone today. And just like every other operating system under Android, this phone is super easy to get yourself into. I've been using this one for about 4 weeks now, and it is working perfectly with around 50 apps installed. With 6 gigs of RAM, this phone is basically a PC. This means it can handle a lot of multitasking, and that is actually a cool inbuilt feature. Opening and running 2 apps simultaneously. Like, you may want to do some research and take notes down at the same time. You could easily just open your browser and your Notes app at the same time, and you'll simultaneously display them on the same screen. You can run a whole bunch of apps in the background without the device heating up very much, though it does get quite warm when you leave the camera on for over an hour. Okay, so the major gimmick for this model is the camera reinvented. Since the S8 was near perfect, all the new stuff for this model was put into the camera. And it is incredible! The rear camera is a 14 megapixel camera that comes with a wide-angle lens and a telephoto lens. And it also has an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. So as expected, the pictures and video look incredible. They're bright, vivid, crisp, and clear. You also have different camera modes like Sports to capture fast-moving objects, and of course the Super Slow-Mo mode, which records at a whopping 960 frames per second. It is ridiculously fun. Speaking of the right light though, shooting in low light has never been this easy, as the Samsung Galaxy S9 comes with game-changing dual aperture that changes mechanically between f1.5 and f2.4 whenever there's low light. This is huge because no other mobile device today can do that. This grants the S9 a massive edge when it comes to low light and night photography. Images still look incredible while not being very grainy at all. This is definitely one of my favorite things about this phone. A cool new feature that this phone has is the intelligent scanning that it uses to unlock your phone. It's pretty much a mixture of an iris scan and facial recognition. And even though it takes the longest to unlock your phone compared to the fingerprint scanner, the iris scanner, or the facial recognition on their own, it's also the safest bet at keeping your phone locked. But honestly, I just stay with the fingerprint scanner because it's secure and easy to use. And now that it's in a new position, right under the camera, it's a lot easier to use as it's ergonomically placed compared to last year's S8 model. However, there are a few things that I didn't really agree with that this phone does. Though at this point, if there are some things that you don't agree with this phone, you could just chalk it up to personal preference. One big issue that I've noticed so far is with the battery life. Even though it's the exact same capacity as the S8, the S9 does demand a lot more power for its processor and memory. And new hardware. So on average, it'll last my usual 8 to 5 workday, running out as soon as I get home. So hopefully some software updates will come out later in the phone's lifespan to maybe help with the battery management. However, the fast charging, wireless charging, and regular charging are all incredibly fast. So that kind of almost sort of makes up for the bad battery management. And another one of the more universal issues are the AR emojis. They are unnerving and inaccurate at times. I think it's just one of those ideas that seem better on paper, but the execution really doesn't stick. Props to Samsung for adding in this feature, and some people out there might actually enjoy it, but I'm not one of those people. And then there's Bixby. Bixby, of course, is Samsung's very own personal voice assistant and sort of their answer to Apple's Siri. Why am I alone?
With me, you're never alone.
I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Bixby, but I do keep it on just to see if there ever is a use for it. And so far, not really. And finally, there is the price tag. If you want the best model, which is the S9 Plus with 256 gigs of storage, it'll run you back around, let's just say, upwards of 3,400 kina. Though the standard S9 model comes between 2,400 and 3 grand. But here's also where it gets interesting. You're going to have to note that there are some differences between the S9 and the S9 Plus. I mean, the size is the obvious one, but there are also some differences with the memory and some features. For one, the standard S9 model comes with only 4 gigs of RAM, whereas the S9 Plus comes with 6 gigs. This makes the Plus model a little snappier and smoother, and will be able to multitask more successfully than the standard model. But honestly, not by anything too substantial. Also, the telephoto lens only comes with the S9 Plus, so the serious Instagram photographers might want to go for the Plus instead of the standard. And finally, the standard S9 model comes with a little less battery than the S9 Plus, and this actually might be a little of a deal breaker for you because the S9's battery management overall isn't that great. But that's just what I think of the Samsung Galaxy S9. And despite my nitpicks, I think this is the best Samsung phone to date, and I honestly don't know how Samsung is going to top it off next year. I mean, they could probably make the battery management a little less sucky, but we'll see where it goes. This phone has so much going for it anyway. The camera honestly is the best I've seen on a device, and I'm definitely going to be using this a lot more. And it's just all around gorgeous. If you do have the expendable funds, and that is a lot of expendable funds though, this is a buy that you will not regret. So what do you guys think of the S9? Did you try out the S8? Are you as creeped out as those emojis as I am? Well, tell us all about it on our Facebook page, or you can email us. Until next time, I'll see you all later on Tech People. Now it's back to the studio with me and Theresa. See you later.
The Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. Yep, I got it right. That is such a, I can't describe it. I'm sort of like speechless. I just love the camera. I swear, I love the camera. You know, Godfrey, I know you tried that, and you know, just tell us about it.
Well, yeah, the camera is definitely the biggest improvement on this phone compared to, like, you know, the other generations. As I said in the segment, it's got a bunch of really amazing new features. The super slow-mo is awesome. 960 frames. Can you? I just couldn't comprehend that. That was amazing.
I could see that you were having fun.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it's just so cool, and it's waterproof and dustproof, so you can take it everywhere. Like it's meant to be a phone that's such an all-rounder. So whatever it is,
everything.
yeah, you're prepared for anything. So it's definitely my favorite phone this year. I'm just eagerly waiting for
It's
how.
like you have the whole world in your hand, like
Honestly.
everything there, right?
Yeah. Just right there.
One punch on the keypad and that's it.
I know, and you don't even have to touch the keypad. You can just talk to it, and then it
Yeah.
tells you whatever you need to know.
I saw that.
I'm just eagerly waiting for how Samsung is going to top this off next year, right? But unfortunately, though, we've come to the end of, yet again, another amazing episode of House and Home.
We hope you've enjoyed. Like I always say, viewers, visit our Facebook page. If you want to know more about the editions that we've presented to you tonight, please don't forget to visit our Facebook page, give us a thumbs up, and comment. Tell us what you think and what you'd like to see more of in the coming episodes, because I know we have more coming up. Yes, Godfrey?
Yep, definitely. We have so much more coming up. So from everybody here at the House and Home team and the EMTV team, we'd like to wish you a good night, pleasant viewing. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.